Saul makes 10. 10 ought to do it, don't you think? You think we need one more? You think we need one more? All right, we'll get one more.
Ocean's 11, a movie that looks cool, clean, and perfectly planned, but the real story is full of chaos, risks, and unbelievable moments. It brought together huge stars like George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Julia Roberts, but would you believe they actually took pay cuts to make it happen? Behind the scenes, they were gambling in real casinos, arguing over credits, and even eating so much food during takes it made them sick. That's only the beginning. Today, we're here with 20 crazy facts about Ocean's 11 that will completely change how you see the film. But before we begin, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more content just like this. Number 20. With a production budget of $85 million, getting the A-listers on board was no easy task. They all agreed to take pay cuts in order to make it happen. Julia Roberts, who usually made $20 million per movie, took a much smaller paycheck, and George Clooney and director Steven Soderbergh even began their production company, Section 8, with this film. The gamble on smaller salaries would pay off in a huge way when the movie earned $450 million worldwide.
Okay, tell me about Benedict. That guy's a machine.
But behind the scenes, the cast had fun gambling at the Bellagio casino, where much of the movie was filmed. Clooney had reportedly lost 25 hands of blackjack in a row, so to cheer himself up afterwards, he got a personal keg of Guinness installed in his hotel room. Matt Damon reportedly had much better luck. Number 19. Don Cheadle played Basher Tarr, the explosives expert with a Cockney accent that he later admitted was terrible, but his name isn't in the movie credits. That's because, in his own words, there was some stuff that happened behind the scenes that he didn't like how it went down, so he wanted his name off of it. The reported dispute was over billing, and Cheadle wanted his name alongside Clooney, Pitt, and Damon. When he didn't get it, he asked to be left off entirely. The choice made his character more famous. People still talk about it even though his name isn't even in the credits. And that Cockney accent that was so bad, his British friends made fun of him. Cheadle even joked about firing his agent because of it all.
Right? Nothing else?
Hang on. Are you accusing me of booby trapping?
Well, how about it?
Booby traps are Mr. Tarr style.
Number 18. Brad Pitt's character, Rusty Ryan, was watching Tess, played by Julia Roberts, as she walked down the stairs. And while doing that, he ate shrimp cocktail. The director wanted the perfect shot, so he had to keep redoing the scene, and every time they reset, he kept eating shrimp instead of faking it. By the time that Soderbergh was satisfied, Pitt had eaten 40 shrimp, no spit bucket, no fakes, and all of it began because Pitt came up with an idea for Rusty's character. He decided Rusty would be snacking all the time since a busy thief would not have the time for a proper meal. The director liked it and added food to Rusty's scenes, and eventually it turned into a trademark for Rusty throughout the Ocean's movies. But that one scene had consequences. Pitt actually got sick from eating so much shrimp. Number 17. In one important scene, Danny Ocean and Terry Benedict stand by a window watching a building collapse, but what you see in the film isn't what was originally done. The building being demolished was originally made to look like the New York Hotel and Casino on the Las Vegas Strip. Its twin tower-like design created a similarity to the tragic events of September 11, 2001. After those attacks, producers decided it was too sensitive to show anything that resembled the collapse of the Twin Towers, and so they used CGI to completely change the scene before the movie came out. The edited version is what audiences saw in theaters, but the original footage does still exist. The HBO behind-the-scenes featurette included on the DVD, made before the edit, and shows the original pre-9/11 version of the sequence. This makes Ocean's 11 one of the first major films to be changed in response to 9/11. Number 16. The pinch device in the movie was inspired by real science. Filmmakers based it on something called Z-pinch technology, used in high-energy physics to create powerful electromagnetic pulses by compressing plasma within magnetic fields.
We could use a pinch.
What's a pinch?
A pinch is a device which creates like a cardiac arrest for any broadband electrical circuitry. Or better yet, a pinch is a bomb.
The production team dug deep into research, exploring particle accelerators, and even chatted with scientists online to get the details correct. A property master from the crew visited a lab, likely in Northern California, to photograph and study an actual pinch device because they wanted it to feel real. The movie took some big creative liberties. Real Z-pinch devices are enormous, and one famous machine, the Sandia device, is 100 feet tall, taking up an entire building. Fitting one into a van wasn't possible. The car batteries shown in the movie could not power a machine like that, and scientists say they couldn't even power a city blackout. Real Z-pinch machines without a nuclear weapon can't make EMPs strong enough to do it. Still with us? Don't forget to give this video a like if you're enjoying the facts, and feel free to subscribe, as it's the best way to support the channel. Number 15. By 2001, most of the cast from the 1960 version of Ocean's 11 were no longer alive. Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Sammy Davis Jr. had all passed away. But two original cast members, Henry Silva and Angie Dickinson, made secret cameos in the 2001 remake. They don't have lines or special attention, but they quietly appear during the boxing scene at the MGM Grand. It's so subtle that most viewers don't even notice. Henry Silva played Roger Cornel in the original and made this appearance his final big screen role. For Angie, who had played Beatrice Ocean, it was her second to last movie. There was no announcement regarding cameos, no title card, and nothing to call them out. It was simply a hidden tribute to connect the two films together. Number 14. Lennox Lewis's two-day cameo reportedly cost him 3 world titles and $75 million. In early 2001, Lennox Lewis went to Las Vegas to spend 2 days filming a cameo for Ocean's 11. It seemed harmless, a quick appearance for a blockbuster film, but on April 22nd of 2001, he stepped into the ring in South Africa to defend his titles against Hashim Rahman. He was the clear favorite, a 20-1 favorite in fact, yet in the 5th round everything changed. He was knocked out, and it was one of the biggest upsets in boxing history. The loss would hit hard. He not only lost the fight, but also his titles, and the defeat cost him a lot. He was supposed to fight Mike Tyson in what people would call the biggest fight in boxing. The deal was worth $75 to $100 million, but because of his loss, it was gone. The promoter blamed the loss on his decision to film instead of train properly. He had not trained at high altitude like his opponent and didn't have enough time to adjust. Number 13. In the final scene, the crew stands silently in front of the Bellagio fountains. Debussy's Claire de Lune plays softly as they begin to leave, one by one, but the order of their exits was not scripted. Soderbergh simply told the actors to leave whenever it felt right. There were no rehearsals or blocking, just the camera rolling. The result becomes a quiet, natural ending that defines the film. They stood at a railing that was set up after the Bellagio's fountains were partially drained, and the song wasn't picked only for the ending. It also played softly at an earlier scene at Ruben's house while they planned by the pool. Number 12. Before Ocean's 11, baseball did not have entrance music for relief pitchers. The idea of a closer walking out to a personal song was not a thing. But this changed, and it started with movies. Back in 1989, the film Major League introduced the concept with Rick Vaughn, the fictional pitcher stepping onto the field while Wild Thing played behind him. It was fictional, but it planted a big idea. Fast forward to Ocean's 11 and things take off. The movie showed how music can turn a moment into something unforgettable. The scene where Basher arms the pinch, the crew moves in perfect sync to the pulsing score by David Holmes, and it felt like every character had their own rhythm. Ocean's 11 showed how music can create excitement, and this idea also influenced baseball. It's hard to picture a pitcher walking to the mound without a special song. From Mariano Rivera's Enter Sandman to today's choices, it all started with movies making moments feel magical. Number 11. Mark Wahlberg was supposed to play Linus Caldwell in Ocean's 11, but the role of course went to Matt Damon. Originally, it was Mark who was cast. He stepped away from the project in order to star in Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes in 2001. The Wilson brothers were also in talks to join. They were set to play the Malloy twins, Turk and Virgil.
Girl, let's do this all day. I'm gonna get out of the car and I'm gonna drop you like third period French.
However, they left to work on the Royal Tenenbaums with Wes Anderson, and after that departure, Scott Conn and Casey Affleck stepped in. At one point, filmmakers thought about bringing in the Coen brothers after the Wilsons dropped out, but that didn't happen. A lot of actors were actually considered, including Johnny Depp, Mike Myers, Bruce Willis, and even Ewan McGregor, before the final cast was decided. Number 10. George Clooney had to turn down the lead role in the 2002 thriller Unfaithful. It eventually went to Richard Gere, and Diane Lane, his co-star, earned an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. It became a critically acclaimed hit, however, Clooney didn't seem to look back. He showed his dedication to Ocean's 11, spending months filming at the Bellagio, and even took a reduced salary for the project. It would all pay off. Ocean's 11 was a big hit that made $450 million and became a massive success. So it's hard to say whether Clooney regretted missing out on a movie that led to an Oscar nod for one of its stars. Number 9. The poker scene with Rusty Ryan is full of surprises. Actors at the table are real WB network stars from the early 2000s. Topher Grace from That 70s Show, Joshua Jackson from Dawson's Creek, Shane West from Once and Again, Holly Marie Combs from Charmed, and Barry Watson from Seventh Heaven all play themselves. And they're getting hustled by Brad Pitt. Joshua Jackson's wearing the skull ring from his movie The Skulls. Director Steven Soderbergh kept it because it matched the vibe of the scene perfectly. As if that's not enough, Danny walks in during the game and the group begins chatting about jumping from TV to movies. It's a cool reference to George Clooney's own life. He went from acting on ER to becoming a big Hollywood star. Number 8.
Steven Soderbergh for Traffic.
At the 2001 Academy Awards, Steven Soderbergh won the Oscar for Best Director for Traffic and was nominated that same year for Aaron Brockovich. The huge success put him at the top of his game, but right after that, Soderbergh decided to take on the challenge of directing Ocean's 11. You might think after a big win it would be smooth sailing, but it turned out to be the toughest shoot of his life. Soderbergh would admit that making the Ocean's trilogy, especially the first film, was no easy task, and even with all of his talent, it pushed him to his limits. He called it real agony, trying to make a movie that looked stylish and effortless on screen, but behind the scenes it was anything but easy. During a 2014 talk with the Directors Guild of America, he shared his goal was to make the movie feel light and fun while keeping all of the hard work hidden. Number 7. Just imagine working a luxury casino packed full of guests and actually giving up a huge chunk of floor space for a movie. This wasn't something that money could buy. It all took place because producer Jerry Weintraub had a personal connection. He was friends with the owner of the Bellagio, and thanks to the friendship, the production team got access to spaces that would usually be impossible to film in. The entire cast stayed at the hotel during the shoot, and every morning they had breakfast in the same place where their characters were working to steal from. The carpet, the vault, the security setup, you're seeing the real Bellagio and not a fake replica. Number 6. Played by Carl Reiner, Saul gives the Russian password to the courier. The phrase translates to "I love you" and is actually from a completely different movie. The line is a direct reference to the 1963 film The Great Escape. Charles Bronson's character in the film teaches the exact same line to James Coburn's character as part of their recognition code. What's even more crazy is how well hidden the connection is. It's not something that most viewers would even notice. Writer Ted Griffin placed the clever reference into the film as a secret Easter egg, and unless you know both films really well, you would never catch it. It's not made to grab attention or even give a nod to the audience, but instead a subtle wink at nobody buried deep within one of the most complex heist scenes in modern cinema. Number 5. The role of Terry Benedict almost had a very different face.
Hi, Sheldon Willis. I'm about a gaming commission.
Bruce Willis was originally in talks to play the casino owner and main villain in Ocean's 11, but he turned it down. That's because when he read the script, he felt the character was not fully developed yet, but the decision would later stick with him, and he even admitted regretting it. He really wanted to work with George Clooney and thought he might not get another chance. He also praised Andy Garcia, saying that he did an amazing job as Terry. Fast forward to Ocean's 12 in 2004, and Willis had managed to sneak his way into the franchise, not how you'd expect. Bruce Willis made a memorable cameo, playing none other than himself. The highlight of the appearance was a comedic interaction with Tess Ocean, who was pretending to be Julia Roberts. Number 4. The movie's opening weekend brought a massive $38.1 million, which was enough to knock Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone out of the top spot after being there for 2 weeks. It smashed the December opening record previously held by What Women Want, and there's more. That same weekend, the movie set personal records for Brad Pitt and Julia Roberts, who outperformed Pitt's Interview with a Vampire and Roberts' Runaway Bride. 2 weeks later, another giant arrived. The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring swept in and broke the opening record that Ocean's 11 just set. Ocean's 11 had already cemented its place in history, and for a brief time it stood tall as the biggest film during one of the toughest weekends in cinema. Number 3. The brothers in the movie are hiding a secret you may have missed. Their names Turk and Virgil are a clever nod to The Godfather. Virgil the Turk Sollozzo, a villain from The Godfather, inspired the names. Turk is played by Scott Caan, who is the real-life son of James Caan. James Caan played Sonny Corleone, a key character in The Godfather. Andy Garcia, who plays the bad guy Terry Benedict in Ocean's 11, starred as Vincent Mancini in The Godfather Part 3. Whether it's planned or pure coincidence, it's a layered tribute that ties two of Hollywood's most famous crime movies together in a way that few viewers ever notice. Number 2. In 1998, Don Cheadle brought Sammy Davis Jr. to life in the HBO biopic The Rat Pack, which aired in August of that year. His performance got a lot of praise and earned him nominations for both a Golden Globe and an Emmy. Sammy Davis Jr. was a famous entertainer who had been one of the main stars of the original Ocean's 11 film in 1960. 3 years after playing Davis, Don Cheadle was cast to play Bashir Tarr in the 2001 remake. Bashir Tarr is not the same character as Josh Howard, who Sammy Davis Jr. played in the first film, but the two roles do have a lot in common. Both are tech experts and play key parts in the heist teams. They also stood out in their groups as memorable characters. The link between the movie feels like a tribute to Sammy Davis Jr. Cheadle's role connects the two films and shows how history repeats itself with great talent across generations. Number 1. In 2021, the Writers Guild of America voted Ted Griffin's screenplay for Ocean's 11 as the 75th greatest screenplay of the 21st century. That's out of 101 screenplays, and on paper it may seem unexpected. After all, it's a heist comedy and not some deep, serious film, but there's something special about it. Even Steven Soderbergh called it a throwback, describing it as an old-fashioned heist movie with a big cast and no violence or bad language. The WGA's recognition proved what fans had already known. The script was brilliant in its simplicity. Every scene has a purpose, the dialogue feels natural but does a lot of heavy lifting to drive the story, and as you watch, the crew always stays one step ahead of you. That's part of what makes it so exciting. So it's no wonder professional writers praised its clever design. Now be sure to smash that like button since you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe so that you always know when we upload another video like this one. If you have any recommendations, leave it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.